Chapter 27. The Dream. Alex slowly opened her eyes one at a time. She was lying on the ground facing a dark ceiling. She didn't know where she was and didn't remember how she got there, but got to her feet to look around. Alex was standing in a dark cave. A lantern was on the ground beside her. She picked it up and journeyed deeper into the cave. There was something about this place that Alex found very comforting. Despite its darkness and mystery, for whatever reason, she knew she was safe. Up ahead she saw light. She continued toward the light, and two large boulders came into view. Two little girls were standing on top of the boulders, and two were standing beside them. As she got closer, she was able to make out what they were wearing. The first little girl wore a sweater, a skirt, and a headband, just like Alex. The second little girl wore a long nightgown and no shoes. The third little girl wore a puffy dress with an apron over it. The fourth little girl had braided pigtails and wore silver shoes. All four of the girls stared blankly at Alex, as if they were waiting for her to say something. "Who are you?" Alex asked the girls with a smile. "You know who we are," the little girl in the nightgown said. Alex raised the lantern higher and took a second look at them. "I do?" she asked. "How do we know each other?" "You know us, but we don't know you," said the girl in the silver shoes. She spoke with an adorable twang in her voice. "I'm afraid I don't," Alex said. "You'll figure out when you think about it long enough," said the girl in the sweater in a charming British accent. "You all look very familiar," Alex admitted. "It's as if I've met you before, or seen you in a movie, or read about you." Alex gasped. "Wait a second. Are you who I think you are?" The girl shared the same amused smile. "Hello, I'm Lucy Penvis," said the girl in the sweater and curtsied. "I'm Alice," said the girl in the apron. "I'm Dorothy Gale," said the girl in the braids. "And I'm Wendy Darling, with the one in the nightgown," said. Alex couldn't believe what she was seeing. "But you're the girls I grew up reading about," she had said. "I used to pretend I was you when I was little. All I ever wanted was to be one of you and escape into my own magical world." "Sounds like you got what you wanted," Alice said. Alex lowered her head and looked at the floor. Alice was right, but it was impossible for Alex to be happy about it anymore. "What's the matter, dear?" Wendy asked. Alex sighed. "I used to think the land of stories was paradise. It was my own personal safe haven," she told him. "But now an evil enchantress has taken over all of the kingdoms." "Oh my," said Lucy. "Sounds like the White Witch." "Worse," Alex said, and put it in terms they could understand. "She's got the White Witch's greed, the Wicked Witch of the West's anger, the Queen of Hearts' temper, and Captain Hook's vengeance." All the girls shook their heads and showed their sympathy. "That's horrible," Wendy said. "Greed and anger and temper, oh my," Dorothy said. "Can you melt her?" "I wish," Alex said with a laugh. "Can Aslan prance on her?" Lucy asked. "No, unfortunately," Alex said. "Could you feed her to a crocodile?" Wendy asked. "I don't think so," Alex said. "But then how are you going to defeat her?" Alice asked. "My friends and I are building a powerful wand," Alex said. She excitedly reached her satchel to show them, but it wasn't around her shoulder. "Oh no, where's my wand? I just had it a second ago." She moved the lantern around, scanning the ground of the cave, looking for a place she may have dropped it. The other girls giggled at her attempts. Alex looked up at them and slowly realized why they found her efforts so amusing. "Is this a dream? Or am I dead?" Alex asked. "Of course it's a dream," Lucy said. "Why else do you think we're here?" Alice asked. "I hope a big cave isn't what you think heaven looks like," Dorothy said. Alex was happy to hear it. The last thing I remember, I was being blasted into the sky, she said. But how did I survive the fall? Did your wand save you? Lucy asked. Of course, Alex exclaimed. The wand makes whoever is holding it invincible. It was in my hand the entire time. The Enchantress didn't kill me after all. The girls cheered, but then Dorothy went silent. Are you going to kill the Enchantress with the wand now? Dorothy asked. Alex hadn't really thought about that. She had been so concerned with getting the wand finished, she had never thought about how it would do after the wand was made. How was she going to go about defeating the Enchantress with the wand? Was she going to have to kill her with it? Was Alex even capable of killing someone? She always figured Jack or Goylax would do it if what was needed. I suppose I don't have a choice, Alex said. I recommend finding a different way if there is one, Dorothy said, with a sad look on her face. Even though melting the witch was an accident, I felt awful about doing it ever since. What Dorothy said resonated with Alex, and then she was letting on. She didn't want to hurt anyone, but how could she stop Esmea without killing her? Would Esmea just find another way to cheat death like she had after evilly poisoned her? I don't have to necessarily kill Esmea, Alex said, thinking out loud. I just have to take away her powers, and her powers come from a place of hate and anger. So if I take away the reasons that validate her right to be angry, she would be powerless. Alex excitedly jumped up and down, pleased to have come up with an alternative way. The girls clapped for her. Violence is never the answer, Wendy said. I always try to tell Joan and Michael that when they play in the nursery, but they never listen to me. When you figure out how to take away her hate and anger, would you let me know, Alice said. I would like to know in case I run to the Queen of Hearts again. Alex went silent, and as the wheels in her head were turning, I think I know how to do it, she said, and her eyes darted back and forth from one side to the other. And I might not even need the wand to do it after all. So you just finished a huge journey to find out what you needed was with you all along, Dorothy asked. Been there. Alex thought about it. The wand might not have been the solution, but it was still useful. It still had saved her life. It had also given them hope, and without that they would have been lost for sure. She looked at the girls around the cave. Now I understand the meaning of this dream, she said. Deep down, I knew I could never kill the Enchantress, so I was searching for another way. The cave represents my questioning, and you represent the answer. But ever since I was a little girl, I always thought about you when I had a problem. Why is that? Alice asked her. I suppose I've learned so much from you, Alex said. I always wanted to be as loving as Wendy, or as curious as Alice, or as brave as Lucy, or as adventurous as Dorothy. I always thought a little bit of myself when I read about each of you. All the girls smiled at her. We're happy to help, Lucy said. And we'll always be here if you need us, Wendy said. Alex nodded thankfully to them. Is there anything else on your mind we could help you with? Dorothy said, since we happen to be lingering in your subconscious. Actually, now that you mention it, there is something I've always wanted to ask you if I ever got the chance, Alex said. She didn't know what had caused her to believe or would ever have the chance to ask literary characters a question, but she asked them nonetheless. After seeing the amazing magical places like Neverland, Oz, Narnia, and Wonderland, why did you ever want to leave? The girls looked to one another. They had never been asked the question before, at least in Alex's mind. Because no matter where you go or what you see, you'll always want to be where you belong, Lucy said. Your home is where you feel most comfortable and loved, Wendy said. It's part of you, Alice said. It's where your family is. There's no place like home, Dorothy said, as if it was the first time she ever said those words. Alex appreciated what they had said, but wasn't sure if she entirely agreed. I wonder, though, if home sometimes isn't where you're from, she said. The girls looked at her. She had already answered her own question. Alex wondered if that had been the real question lingering in her mind all along. Alex! Alex, said a familiar voice. Alex looked all around the cave, but couldn't tell where it was coming from. What's happening? Alex asked the girls, but they all disappeared. Alex, are you hurt? Please wake up, a voice pleaded. And the more it did, the more the cave around her disappeared. Alex woke up on the ground. This time she was outside. She saw the sky and the tops of the trees above her, as well as the face of a concerned and balding man looking down at her. Bob? Alex asked and sat up. You're alive, Bob said, and with teary eyes, and hugged her. It's a miracle. I just saw you fall from the sky. You might have been shocked. Let me check your heart. Bob grabbed hold of Alex's wrist and checked her pulse. I wonder if there's intensive care units somewhere in this kingdom, he said. Bob, I'm fine. Look, Alex said, her hand still clutching the wand. It's a wand of wonderment. I was holding on to it, and it saved me. Bob looked at her like she was speaking a different language. Is it wrong that I'm still surprised by all this? Alex jumped to her feet. She couldn't see the Enchantress's pillar in the distance. The sky above it was filling more and more with the black smoke from the fire. I've got to get back there, Alex said. Back there? Bob asked me. Wait, are you telling me that's where you fell from? Yes, now I have to get back, Alex said. I just don't have time to go by foot. Then how are we supposed to get there, Bob said. Alex looked down at the wand and then back to him. I think I have an idea, she said, and a sly smile appeared on her. Bob backed away from her. I don't like the turn of this conversation has suddenly taken, he said. Alright, that is the end of Chapter 7. Thank you for the reading and enjoying it. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to hear more from the Land of Stories, The Enchantress Returns, and more books to come. Soon we'll be doing the review and summary of the whole book in case you missed some of it. Also, if you want to give me any suggestions for me later on in the future, don't forget to comment down below on the video to give me great recommendations later on. But overall, hope you all had a wonderful and beautiful day and enjoy the reading.